Yes, hello everybody again. Beginning of January on CBS this morning, they were telling everybody that with flus and viruses and stuff like that, that these amount of people, millions, 4,800 deaths, right? Widespread flu activity, 4th of January 2020. On this graph here, they are saying that Spain and the UK, it's so much worse than China, okay? But when they get to here, it's only such a very, 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 very small scenario of people. I'm just going to play the video. It's going to be him talking, then America, and then a few bits put in. But anyway, thanks for watching, because the figures just don't add up.
The number of UK deaths has been rising at a faster rate than both Italy and China at the same stage of their outbreak, both of which experience unsustainable pressure on their health services. As we know, some regions are recording more deaths than others. As of Saturday, in London, 1 in every 100,000 people have died, or that's 10 per million. The West Midlands has 5.4 per 1 million, followed by the South East, which has a ratio of 4.7. But within those regions, NHS capacity and the age of the population varies widely. Researchers at Oxford University have looked at both to identify the areas that could come under most pressure from COVID-19 based on recently published infection rates. These so-called hospital deserts include Powys, Northumberland, Rutland, Suffolk and the Isle of Wight, where hospitals could easily become overwhelmed. The research suggests some regions can cope with a higher rate of infection than others. For example, London, the worst affected region so far, can cope with an infection rate of 4.7% of its population, compared to Cornwall at only 1.5%. But London's age profile varies widely from borough to borough. Harrow, for example, has an older population, and Norfolk Park Hospital declared a critical incident on March the 19th after running out of intensive care beds due to coronavirus admissions. Whereas the London Borough of Newham has a comparatively younger population and might expect fewer hospital admissions. With the outbreak in the UK currently around 2 weeks behind Italy, the government will be asking itself what it can do to prevent our health system being overwhelmed in a similar way.
Today's morning rounds, this flu season is on track to be one of the worst in recent history. In terms of the number of people infected, flu is now widespread in almost every single state, and nearly 10 million people have become ill so far. 4,800 of those people have died. Pediatric deaths are double what they were this time last year.
As we know, some regions are recording more deaths than others. As of Saturday, in London, 1 in every 100,000 people have died, or that's 10 per million. The West Midlands has 5.4 per 1 million, followed by the South East, which has a ratio of 4.7.
And Dr. Tara Narula is here to help us understand why. So 32 children have died so far from the flu this year. Why is it up so much?
So it's interesting. This year, the word we use about the flu is unpredictable. And it's been unpredictable because we've seen a shift in the predominant strain, which is usually influenza A. This year, it's influenza B. That hasn't happened since the 1992-1993 flu season. And we know that influenza B tends to affect children more. They tend to have a more severe reaction to influenza B than the older
What are the more serious complications they can get?
So certainly pneumonia is one of the most serious and most frequent complications. They can also get encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain. They can also develop sinusitis or ear infections. Then there can be things like seizures or myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle.
Story about a little girl going blind.
That's right.
You have an incident in your own house.
We do. We were away.
She had the flu shot.
My daughter had the flu shot.
How old is she?
She's 7. She got the flu while we were away on Christmas break. And as she was recovering, we thought, oh, she's getting better. She came into my room at night and said, I can't walk. My legs hurt.
7.
And she was crawling to the bathroom.
Wow.
At which point we discovered that, in fact, viral myositis or inflammation of the muscles of the legs can happen in children who
You and your husband are doctors.
We are,
Tara.
and it was
You
so
know-
scary.
Yes,
and
yes.
this is why it's so important to remind parents that this doesn't have to just be, a fever and some respiratory symptoms. This can progress. This can be deadly.
So what should parents be looking for?
So certainly you want to look for signs of the flu, right? So
Yeah.
fever, abrupt onset, cough, runny or stuffy nose, sore throat, headache, muscle aches. But also in children, they can have things like stomach pains or nausea and vomiting and diarrhea, abdominal symptoms.